Hello and welcome to Chez Zasaa. I'm Zasaa, and Chez Zasaa basically means Zasa's place. So my place, and in my place, I do a lot of talking. So here we're going to have lots of conversations. I'm going to have conversations with different people about different topics. And today I'm going to have a conversation with someone that I have loads of conversations with. He's my husband and his name is Wale. But since this is the first time that you are meeting us, we will introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about ourselves before we go into our topic. So, hey, hon.
Well,
How would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, I figured that's what you were trying to get me to do. Yes, my name is Wale. I am married to Zasaa.
To the beautiful Zasaa.
To the gorgeous Zasaa, even. And we've been married for about 25 and a half years. Look at that, spot on. Even.
Impressive.
20,
Rehearsed and rehearsed.
26 in, no, we didn't rehearse that. 26 in 4 months. Four.
Oh, wow, he's being specific.
Look at that.
Are you looking for brownie points?
That's
here?
right. Yeah, we have 4 kids. That's us.
That's us. And when we have conversations together, we call it Tête-à-tête with Tiwa, which comes under the Chez Zasaa umbrella. Would we like to explain why we call it Tiwa? Tête-à-tête with Tiwa. Tête-à-tête means head-to-head, one-on-one conversations. And Tiwa is because...
It's us. Our
It's what?
conversation. It's about us. Our conversations. Tiwa, Tirike, Wale.
Tiwa. Yeah.
Yeah, there you have.
And Tiwa also means ours in our language. So Tête-à-tête with Tiwa is what we do when we have our conversations. Okay, so our topic today is, should love always be a sacrifice? What do you reckon? Do you think that love should be a sacrifice?
No.
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 You can't end like that because we have to have a whole conversation.
Sorry, yeah. No, I don't think love should be a sacrifice. It makes it a hard thing. It makes it it's almost like a demand.
So if love is it the word should that you're struggling with? So if love should be God.
Love should be sacrificial.
Okay. Love should be sacrificial but not a sacrifice.
But not a sacrifice.
Can you explain, please?
When you sacrifice something,
Yeah.
or how should I say this? There are times when you sacrifice and it's not free will. When I say it's not free will, it doesn't come without, and obviously sacrifice himself. There's got to be what's the word?
Compromise.
There's some sort of compromise, but there's something else I'm looking for. I can't find at the moment. Anyhow, there's this. There's a sacrifice, I guess is the word.
Well, I get
giving up something.
Yeah, exactly. So a sacrifice is when you're giving up something. When you're sacrificing. But I wonder if the question should really have been, should love be sacrificial rather than a sacrifice? Because when you say a sacrifice, it's almost like you said, it's almost like the rules that you have to do it like this, as opposed to free will. You're doing it out of the desires of your heart and you want to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where the challenge is in terms of you trying to explain yourself there.
Yeah.
But I think there's certain things that, what would you call a sacrifice? So for example, right, I think that in my bid to lose weight, yes.
Giving up cake.
Yeah, and that's a sacrifice. So don't you think that sometimes there has to be a sacrifice in certain, do you get what I mean?
Because do with love.
To do with anything, you don't think it's
relevant? No, life is full of sacrifices. Yes, we know this. But the question is, should love
be a
be a
sacrifice.
sacrifice. No,
And okay, go on.
I don't think love should be a sacrifice. Love should be love. It should be free. It should not be demanded.
Okay, I got it. I think
Not
I've
be
got it.
demanding. There should be no demands on love. Love should flow freely, because as soon as you start to demand, you begin to, I reckon you begin to expect. And once you're starting to expect, you're taking it out of its natural form. You're beginning to shape it the way you want it shaped. Do you see?
Yeah.
Whereas it should just flow. There are times when it's not going to be perfect, but even in its imperfections, it is at its core love. And so therefore, any imperfections will iron themselves out
Find their level.
because of its authenticity. If you start to demand of it, because it's a sacrifice, you've taken it out of its natural
Its
form.
natural form. So
And anything can happen after that.
okay, but I kind of get where you're going. I think I agree with you. But I think love, what true love, so when you really love someone, so love should not be a sacrifice, but love will make you sacrifice stuff.
Yes.
Because of love,
Because
you
of
will
what-
you'll make
yes,
sacrifices.
that's right.
But love itself should not be a sacrifice.
That's correct.
Love should be allowed to flow freely, and Okay, so when you got married
Yes.
to the beautiful me,
Yes.
however many years ago it was,
I can tell you.
you're really looking for these brownie points.
It was 25 and a half years ago.
You're really looking for these brownie points.
Just
oh my
in case
gosh!
you
Oh my
forgot.
gosh! I haven't forgotten at all. I can never forget.
Well, I just thought I'd remember.
You remember on our wedding day, our the priest that did the ceremony, Alistair
Alistair
Taylor.
Taylor, yes.
Remember what he said to us? I mean, he alluded to this, and he was like very much like, in fact, I was a bit, because he said to you first. He said, Wale, you must put Tinuke first in. If you want a successful marriage, put Tinuke first in everything. So I was like, yes. And then he turned to me and said, Tinuke, if you want a successful marriage, you must put Wale first in everything. So I guess that's like the element of sacrifice that comes as a result of the love. The love is already there, free flowing, and then these are the things that you can do to help it.
Yeah, but yes, what you're talking about, the additions to what a marriage is. Because love in itself, love in itself is not, it's not, what's the word? It's not the only building block of a marriage, of a successful marriage.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely.
And I think this is what he was alluding to.
Yeah, yeah.
And these are the other things that you need to put in place, which is being selfless, and which kind of thing he's talking about. Put the other person first, being selfless, being, and so on and so forth, the other things that come together to make the foundations for a strong marriage. And I dare say even a relationship. When I say that, I mean, so not just within the context of marriage, but also within friendships, relations, whatever is the relationship.
Yeah.
These things are the things that should be in place for sustenance.
Well, I always say this thing that relationships are living things and they need to be nurtured. And I think that sometimes we forget to nurture relationships, and especially ones that are close to us, because you tend to take for granted things that are there anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it will always be there. But a relationship grows from what you put into it.
Absolutely.
Oh, remember that thing that was on the back of our, you probably don't have a clue what I'm about to talk about, but you remember on our wedding, on our program? Do you remember that poem I put on the back of the program?
No.
Thank you for being honest. Okay, so at the back of the program, I found this poem. I don't know who wrote it, and it was called "Marriage is Like a Box."
Oh,
Remember?
yeah. Yes. Now I remember that.
In fact, I'm going to find it to read it out.
Marriage is like a box. It was about what you put in.
Exactly.
Yes, I remember it. Well, I remember the essence of it. I couldn't tell you verbatim what it.
I'm going to let's see if I can find it. Okay, because I think it was very yes, here you go.
Instructive.
Yes, it was very okay. This is a variation of it. It's not the same one, but I can't be looking for it. So it says most people get married believing a myth. They believe that marriage is a beautiful box full of things they have longed for: companionship, intimacy, friendship, etc. The truth is that marriage at the start is an empty box. You must put something in before you can take anything out. There is no love in marriage. Love is in people, and people put love in marriage. There is no romance in marriage. You have to infuse it into your marriage. A couple must learn the art and form the habit of giving, loving, serving, praising, and of keeping the box full. If you take out more than you put in, the box will be empty.
That's great. Yeah.
So it's that same thing about you have to nurture your relationships, your marriage. We've kind of veered off the topic, but that's okay. That's all right. We're okay with that. Yeah, we're okay with that. There was something you said to me once about the moment you said "I do," you felt like
responsibility.
Yes.
A sense of responsibility. Yes, and I can't explain it further or other than exactly what it was. At the point of "I do," I felt not a burden, but a weight of responsibility. I don't know if that makes any sense. It wasn't a burden. It wasn't a weight that's a burden, but I felt like, okay, dude,
you have to step up.
Now you're married and you are now responsible, not only for yourself, but for somebody else. What?
Did you think that you were aware of that before you were in it?
No, I wasn't. I knew I was getting married. I knew what it entailed, and so on and so forth. But at the point of "I do," it's just different. What it was for me.
Because I wonder if somebody else had said to you that, oh, at the point of "I do," a cloak is going to come on you, like a cloak of responsibility. But would it have been any different when you got? Would you have been like, okay, I recognize, okay, this is the cloak, as opposed to just coming out of the blue, or what?
Well, guess what?
What?
A friend of mine actually did tell me.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
And
I said, there's nothing, because what he said to me was, man, it's a new beginning. He said, this is what's going to happen with you. And I'm like, no, it's not. We've been together for 7 years. I said, there's nothing is going to be different. It's almost like it's just been formalized. We're just going into it formally.
Yeah.
So, of course, and I, almost like, yeah, what are you
what do you know?
What are you on about? Well, not what do you know, but what are you on about? And he said, because he likened it to his situation, and then when I said "I do," and Alistair then goes, and no matter pronounce you man and wife, husband and wife, and I was like, oh.
I've done it.
Wow. And immediately that...
You felt it immediately?
Yeah, immediately. And that conversation between the two of us came to mind. And I was like, damn, this is what he was talking about. Now I understand. I did actually go back to him to say...
I get it now.
By the way, you were right. So yes, that happened to me. And I imagine... I wonder if it happens to other fellas. I mean, one needs to ask a few people.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm sure there's some people, because there's some people that think that, it's just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe that's what you were thinking as well. We're just formalizing
that's
a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But obviously you were pleasantly surprised.
I was.
But it's interesting because it's one of those things which I guess until you're in it, you don't know, and you
can't-
actually
you can't
found
feel
out
it.
beforehand. So I was actually thinking that maybe I could make an argument that if you had known beforehand, but I can't, because you did know beforehand.
I
You
did.
didn't,
I was told.
but it didn't make any
But it
difference.
didn't make a difference. Yeah.
It didn't make any difference.
I imagine that it's, sorry, and I'm sure we've gone right off topic, but I imagine that it's akin to childbirth, what you understand about childbirth, because you watch programs
Yes.
to do with childbirth.
Yeah.
You hear everything that is to hear about childbirth,
Yeah.
but there is nothing that will prepare you for being at childbirth.
Oh, are you talking as a man?
Yes.
I thought you were referring to women.
No.
So you mean even as in, because there's nothing that can prepare you for what you, because you
You
don't
can watch it on TV.
Yeah, you don't anticipate the
You
emotions.
can watch documentaries. You can read books.
You sound like you were
read
traumatized.
manuals, read journals, read papers, or whatever.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can be told stories, but nothing will prepare you for being there live and experiencing it. Totally different.
Okay, but you know what? You had, and so sorry, we've gone completely off topic, but you had the experience of you were in a labor room before it was your own child. You saw other children.
Right.
So was it different when it was your own child from when it was other people's children?
No. My first time in a labor ward was my son.
Well, weren't you there for I thought you were there for both Savannah and Aisha. You weren't.
I was outside the room.
Oh, you weren't in the room.
Yeah, I was outside the room.
And so is it only your children that you've been in the room?
And Savannah as well.
What? You were in the room for Savannah. So was it different?
No, same thing.
Same thing. Okay. Okay, yeah, so you were there for Savannah. Okay, that's what I thought.
But I was outside with Aisha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing prepares you.
Only prepares you. You're not, and you know, nothing can, because don't forget, this is, I mean, I've been 5 times.
Yeah.
Each time it knocks you back to say to you, hey,
You're not.
you're inconsequential here. Sit, take a seat. You know what I mean? You're humbled. Every time you're humbled. I don't know how doctors do it. They must wear a different brain altogether. You know, I'm talking about, you know, that carry this out on a daily basis, and the nurses, you know.
Okay, anyway, let's come back to love being a sacrifice. So one of the things that I had wanted to say about that when I was thinking about it when I think, love is a choice.
Yes.
I mean, it's a feeling as well, but there's a huge part of love that is a choice that we choose every day to love. Right? Okay, that's sacrificial. It's not a sacrifice.
Sacrificial.
It's sacrificial that we choose every day to love.
You've got a choice.
Sorry? Oh, because we've got. Are you saying that a sacrifice has no choice?
A sacrifice is a set of rules. So let's take it back to the biblical, you know, and those days, where you wanted to go into the temple or see the priest or something along those lines. You would have to sacrifice an unblemished goat or
absolutely,
or you know, dove or something, you know, or whatever. Those are prerequisites. You had to do those things. That's what sacrifice is, right? So you would have to fulfill certain things for certain. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, sacrificial is.
It's by choice.
It's by choice.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So, like, a sacrifice is you don't have that much of a choice. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
But if you're doing something sacrificially, you
have a choice, and you are doing it out of your own. You're just doing it. You know, that's sacrificial.
Okay.
And that's where love is sacrificial, not a sacrifice.
But I mean, one could even say like the ultimate sacrifice was Christ on the cross. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was a love sacrifice.
Yes. Because
and it wasn't a sacrifice because it wasn't his choice, I guess.
No. Well, let's not get into theology here. But I think Christ chose to. Because
he chose to out of obedience, but it wasn't his choice. He chose to obey. He didn't choose to be sacrificed.
He did. Because unfortunately I couldn't tell you exactly where, but I'll paraphrase. Who will go? And the Bible says that Jesus said, I will go.
Yeah, I actually remember that.
He chose to.
So
sacrificial.
So he was being sacrificial, but I was saying that's the ultimate sacrifice. You know, I've confused myself, I'll be honest.
It is the ultimate sacrifice. You being sacrificial doesn't mean you're not sacrificing. You're still sacrificing, but it is not the love of a sacrifice. It is the love that is sacrificial, which is more authentic.
Okay, so because of Christ's love for us, he agreed to sacrifice.
Yes. And that's why he ended up on the cross.
So we've just gone all over the place. This is kind of what we do on Chez Zasaa and Tête-à-tête with Tiwa. We go everywhere. It's typical of this, so don't be thrown. Why are you laughing? Don't be thrown. I don't know if we answered the question. I think we did answer the question. So the question was, should love always be a sacrifice? And we are saying we don't think that love should always be a sacrifice, because we think that a sacrifice is something that is done by force.
Yes.
Whereas we believe that love should be sacrificial, in the sense that because of love, you are doing stuff. We're always sacrificing in different ways.
Right.
Yeah, as in every day, in every little thing, you're doing little sacrifices all the time. But it's not. It's out of love that you are being sacrificial. There's certain things that you give up, you whatever. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the answer to the question, even though we went a whole long way around to get there. If you do have any questions, any topics that you would like us to tackle, please do send them in. We would love to get our teeth into something. Yeah, I think that's it from us for now.
Yeah, I hope we've not confused.
I think we probably have. But hopefully not too much.
Yeah, let's take it apart. I'm sure you'll find what we're trying to say there.
We need to do better. We need to do better. But yes, we'll leave you now and hopefully see you again soon. Do get in touch. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, to discuss, and we'll certainly try. This is Chez Zasaa, and this has been Tête-à-tête with Tiwa. I'm Tineke.
And I'm Wale.
And hopefully we will see you again real soon. God bless you.
Au revoir.
So there are restrictions in that sense. Because I know that everything I do now reflects on him, I restrict myself. Yes. It's not necessarily that he's restricting me.
You also. Because you have someone else to consider always.
Yes, exactly.
And we have covered a multitude of things, because Chinwe said a lot, because that is what marriage is. He does cover you. And we are under him. And I do believe, for myself, you submit to him and he submits to you. Two people are to submit to each other. Now, there's also different things going on, because I'm also thinking of the fact that we're also speaking in, they're 10 years apart between
That's true.
us.
Yes.
So one of the things I feel, marriage is also freedom. Love is freedom. And as a Christian, I believe that God has given me that freedom to be who I was created to be. And that is also respected and regarded by my husband. And I respect and regard who God created him to be.
The reality is that, sometimes that person that's supposed to be the provider is not the provider.
Well,
that person
true.
That's supposed to be the nurturer is not the nurturer. And so many other things. I mean, this woman that you're talking about that was killed by her husband, obviously there was a complete dysfunction.
Absolutely.
And I believe that more than 50% of relationships
I
are
agree with you.
filled and fueled with dysfunction. So this, for it to be nice like that, and for it to be as it's biblically supposed to be, would be great. But the truth is that even if it is that way, it's taken so long. If you find two people that are actually okay, the storms and the places they've had to go
Definitely.
through, most people don't make it through. Once you've made it through the storm, then yes, okay, you're so
But that's what she was
beaten
talking
up.
about.
Yes, the truth. You're so beaten up that I think Rosin said it last time. You're so beaten up that,
Yeah, like-
listen, nobody wants you, nobody wants me. Let's just come together and make this thing work.